Let's see. Somewhere right in this area there was a big tree too, and that's where I saw one of the biggest deer in my life when I was putting up a deer stand. So I know they're out here, and then they're everywhere, really, but they can be elusive. Definitely elusive. Got some nice moss out here too, all over the place. This is not some of the thicker stuff. One of these days I'll remember and I'll bring a bucket out here and we'll collect some. And some of it's really deep, like 3 inches deep. And collect some, and we'll use that for our mulch on some stuff. We used to have some butternut trees out here. They disappeared. Oh, here's another scrape. The male deer will do that. The bucks will do that. And then the does will, the deers will piss on it then. And then does will come here and piss on it. And that's how everybody knows who's in the area. Look at that. Boy, if anybody needed some good stiff bark for anything, Minnesota's going to be full of it the next few years. But I tell you what, this wood now, without that bark on it, for at least a couple of years, would be perfect for cutting up and splitting, because it'll stay dry. But now I can see inside here, and there's a considerable amount of rot in there, so you'd have to take and cut that open, make sure it ain't rotten inside first. There's an old deer stand there. Let's see, zoom in on it if anybody can't see it. If I'm not mistaken, that's my cousin's stand. He had one out here for a while. Alright, anyways, we stopped for a reason. I'm going to hydrate and get straight. Hope everybody's doing amazing. I wasn't going to take any chances not wearing any bright colors out here since deer hunting season just ended. For shotgun. Bow season is still going on. So technically the deer aren't too safe in the area, but I don't know how many people are standing here. Oh, here's another stand. So, let's see here. I think that's my cousin's stand from several years ago. It's pretty crooked actually up there now. And then you move over here, and right there is another stand. Those power lines and that cutting there bring in people from everywhere. I just want to snoop around at times. They'll tend to stay pretty close to that the trail system there. Um, like right now, we are right on the border probably of us and our neighbors who do not. Oh, yeah, I think that might be a. Oh, well, it's either a buckthorn. Yeah, it might be buckthorn. It is buckthorn. Never mind. Who do not reside on the property. Um, they could have somebody that's hunting out here or has hunted out here in the past few years. I don't know. Just wonder what it's going to look like without a lot of these trees here. And with all, what are these smaller things here that are mostly buckthorn? How big does that stuff get? I know it's more of a shrub or retaining wall, I guess. I don't know. They use it for making hedges, I guess, back in the day. This is actually still a good spot to hunt. I would say with a shotgun, you're probably not going to get too much of a shot off with a bow in all this brush. But with a shotgun, you can definitely shoot through some of that stuff. Normally, or in the past years, there wasn't so many dead and dying trees back here, and the ones that were dead, being few and far between, were really getting hit hard by woodpeckers. We've got pileated woodpeckers, downy woodpeckers, red-breasted woodpeckers. I don't know how many different kinds of woodpeckers. And a lot of those do like to eat the bugs that are in those trees. So they are putting holes in the trees, and that's not really what's killing the trees, but um, that's the evidence you're seeing firsthand if there wasn't so many of them. I was just going to point out these holes here. Those holes were put in that tree several years ago. But as we go back over this direction, if they're still there, they were there a couple years ago, so I imagine they still are, unless they're completely gone. You'll see where the woodpeckers just started, and they just poured out those trees, looking for them bugs. It's pretty sad. Damn it. See another little spot on a tree here where a deer had started to rub. Maybe the other side of the tree is probably rubbed up better. Beautiful day. It's probably mid 40s, I'd say, maybe close to 50 in the sun, no wind. Hopefully the sound is working. This area is getting grown up, so I mean this will probably still be here forever, probably. I don't think that it's actually buildable. They would have to do a lot of work, and like I said, it's a massive low-lying land. So, and now it's commercial and industrial. So people aren't going to be building houses on it. Um, whatever becomes of it, it'll be wild, I figure. Of course, until far in the future when we can re-landscape the whole freaking area, because we run out of space for people to live. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Anyways, cheers, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good. Next year we'll come out here. Oh, there's some more of that. Now, this is a better picture. Okay. I know. There you go. All right. I'm gonna hold on to this. I'm gonna do one more later, do another video. But I mean, that looks like ginseng to me, the stuff you were showing me. Now, I've only seen berries on 2 of them out here. And that was several years ago. Ugh. So I don't know. I know the stuff in Minnesota is different. This is very... come out here next year and dig some of it up on camera and see what happens. All right. Get my soda again, or my drink. Do some more. I just don't think there's the nodes I should be seeing on these. Yeah, anyways. I have to make a mess here. Ah. Another one. I really like coming out here in the winter. You can see the tracks a lot better. You can see the coyotes moving through here at times. And they'll go through in like packs of like 6, all spread out. Here's another rub-on tree. Ugh. We really tore that shit up. Here's another one. There's some here. There's some here, and there's hair on it. Okay, now we do have water in here, so I'm going to have to go around it. For a few years that was dry. So the cycle is back and forth. Got a little bit of a shortcut. Nice big deer track. Well, this cutting lane makes it a little easier to walk through here. Okay. So that's what it looks like when the woodpeckers get a hold of them. And I estimate on our side of this slough here, this low spot, we've got probably 30 or 40, probably more like 60 ash trees are dying, unfortunately. An older scrape on that tree. I wouldn't say that one was from this year though. Oh shit. Ugh. Hello? Oh, looking for this Kenneth guy for freaking 18 years. Ay, 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 ay. They must have spent 10 grand just calling me, whoever the hell that is. I mean, it's several people. This Kenneth guy that had my number, or well, it was his number apparently before mine, was into realty or some damn shit, so he's got M&Fers calling him from everywhere. Well, no, calling me now. What I should do is start doing realty, or what I really should do is start cutting deals with these people and then tell them to go to hell. Oh. Anyways, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. I don't know if you can hear the freeway in the background. So with all this beautiful secluded nature, we've got a freeway where 20 years ago they did a freaking count on how many people go by our house. 250,000 cars, I think they said, a day or some shit. Maybe it's 250,000 people. You know, averaging so many people per car or some shit. But yeah, it was an incredible number. There's a nice little deer trail there. On Interstate 35 in Minnesota. Just a tidbit for anybody that made it this far into this video, hanging out. That's where I'm at. Oh, what do we got here? We got puffball mushrooms. Now, if those were fresh and white and solid white on the inside, they're edible. I guess all puffball mushrooms are edible. I just wouldn't suggest eating them when they're in that advanced state of maturity. You know, I've never stumbled upon anybody's grows out here. I know 35 years ago, about 35 years ago, one of the neighbors did have a grow out here somewhere. Probably not right here, but near here. Whoa! We got some natural springs here underneath our peat, and that makes a couple of spots around here that are like endless. We got a three-wheeler stuck in here as kids, and that's that one spot close to that one spot I just walked through. There's like 5 or 6 different spots right there that are all like quicksand almost. All right, well, you guys want to walk the rest of the way? I know it's not unheard of. Go the whole way with me, I guess. It's only like a 10-minute walk. But yeah, at times this stuff is bone dry out here. Sometimes it's got a foot of water. 3 years ago, up by my pond, it dried up so bad the pond went dry, and I had to dig 9 feet down. So I'm 6 foot tall, and it was 3 feet over my head. I didn't dig a very wide hole, but it was like stepped down from ground level, down like 2 feet, and then stepped down another 2 feet, and then I dug down and dug down, maybe went down another foot step, and by that time I was taking these shovels full and hefting them over my head, barely, because the hole wasn't that big enough to really get that shovel around. But I got dug out to 9 feet to where there was moisture in the mud that I was bringing up to water my plants. So I'd take this mud and slop it on top of the pots that I was growing in, and then like a day or so later I'd come in and chip all that shit out. The water had been dried up. Needless to say, it was a pretty shitty harvest that year. But that was guerrilla growing. Still partial guerrilla growing. But it's been a little bit easier and more challenging at the other hand, you know. Bugs. When it became legal in Minnesota, seems like all of a sudden the bugs were all over, and I can only assume that was up to 2 things. Either it was people bringing in genetics and bugs along with them, or, you know, they kind of hopped from one patch to the next, or they were seeded. Here's a conspiracy for everybody. They were seeded here by like pesticide companies, so they would sell more pesticide. Just a thought. I mean, it is what it is. We're gonna get bugs eventually, but shoot, people, I fucking love you, you guys, to the bottom of my heart. Sorry, I'm a little whooped. I have a lot of fun hanging out with all you guys on these other chats and seeing everybody. Whether you want to show your face or not, it's nice to see people's grows on everybody's channels. One of these days I'll figure that out. I have made a couple of leaps and bounds with my YouTube experience. I've conquered a couple things and maybe created a new type of way to stream multiple lives at one time. But we'll see. We'll play around with that. We'll play around with this video. I'll be in the chat on this video. Now that I figure out you want to plan some of these things if you want to sit on a chat and talk to people. And I'm usually Saturday at some point. I've had enough time to upload one. So, maybe Monday or Tuesday before or after somebody else's show. Anyways, thanks everybody. Look at the garden. I'll be making some biochar real soon. So my retort oven is going to be this barrel stove with a popcorn tin, a large popcorn tin that will fit right in that opening there. So I appreciate everybody. You guys have a wonderful day. And if you're 45 or older, talk to your doctor. Schedule a colonoscopy. Adios.